Marlon Brando asks Audrey Hepburn one question at a charity cocktail party. Could you outact me? What Audrey says in the next 10 minutes doesn't start a rivalry. It starts a friendship and changes how the most powerful actor in Hollywood thinks about performance forever. Beverly Hills, April 1961. Saturday evening. A charity gala at the Ambassador Hotel Ballroom. The kind of event where a plate costs what most people make in a month. Crystal chandeliers hang from gold-painted ceilings. Round tables draped in ivory silk fill the room. Silverware polished until it catches candlelight from every angle. Waiters in white jackets move silently between guests carrying trays of champagne. The air smells like expensive perfume and prime rib, and the particular energy of people who have conquered Hollywood. The guest list reads like a who's who of entertainment royalty. Movie stars between pictures, directors between projects, studio executives between deals. The men wear tuxedos that cost more than most people's cars. The women wear gowns and diamonds that catch light with every movement. Everyone here has made it. Everyone here wants everyone else to know it. Audrey Hepburn sits at table 12. Simple black evening gown, clean lines, no flash, no excessive jewelry. Just perfect fit and quiet confidence. Mel Ferrer sits beside her in his perfectly tailored tuxedo. They've been married 2 years now. He's directing her in upcoming projects, managing her career with the precision of a Swiss watchmaker. Tonight, Audrey wears the small diamond earrings he gave her for their anniversary. Understated elegance. Everything about her whispers rather than shouts. She's here because winning an Oscar changes everything. Roman holiday made her a star overnight. The Academy Award made her untouchable. At 31, she's reached heights that most actors dream about their entire lives. But success feels strange on her shoulders. Too heavy sometimes. Too bright. She still remembers the hunger winter in Holland, still hears her father's footsteps walking away forever. Fame doesn't erase those memories. It just makes them feel more distant, like watching someone else's life through expensive glass. Audrey doesn't love these events. Too much small talk about box office numbers. Too many people treating her like a beautiful ornament instead of a working actress. Too many surprised expressions when she speaks intelligently about her craft. The subtle condescension piles up at events like this. Small cuts disguised as compliments. But tonight feels different. Tonight there's electricity in the room because Marlon Brando is here. 4 tables away. Impossible to miss. 6 feet of coiled intensity in a perfectly fitted tuxedo. No bow tie, just a black silk tie loosely knotted. Hair slightly mussed despite expensive styling. Surrounded by people. Always surrounded. Agents, producers, actresses wanting his attention. Everyone wants a piece of Marlon Brando. He's laughing at something, but it's not the practiced laugh of Hollywood charm. It's real, unexpected, the kind that makes other people want to know the joke. That voice that mumbled poetry in a streetcar named Desire. That presence that rewrote the rules of screen acting. The most influential actor of his generation. Maybe the most important actor who ever lived. Audrey watches him, not staring, observing. The way Brando holds himself even while sitting. The way his shoulders stay loose but ready. The way his eyes scan conversations while talking to someone else. Always present, always processing, always real. Actor habits. Audrey recognizes them because she has different ones. Where he coils, she centers. Where he smolders, she glows. Mel notices Audrey watching, squeezes her gloved hand under the table. That's Marlon Brando. I know who he is. Yes, you're studying him. Audrey smiles slightly. I study everyone. What do you see? Power. Real power. Not the Hollywood kind. Something deeper. Dinner progresses. Salad course. Soup. Speeches about helping underprivileged children. Applause at appropriate moments. Audrey eats little, talks less. She speaks when she has something worth saying. Otherwise, she observes. Then something unexpected happens. Marlon Brando stands up from his table, starts walking through the ballroom, not toward the bar, not toward any of the industry luminaries trying to catch his attention. He walks with purpose, direct line toward table 12, toward Audrey Hepburn. Whispers ripple through the room like stones dropped in still water. Heads turn, Conversations stop mid-sentence. Forks freeze halfway to mouths. Where is he going? Who is he approaching? This is Marlon Brando. He doesn't approach people. They approach him. Brando stops right behind Audrey's chair. His presence fills the space around her table like smoke. You're Audrey Hepburn. Audrey turns, looks up at Brando. Doesn't stand, doesn't show surprise. Just meets those famous, intense eyes with calm certainty. I am. The princess from Roman Holiday, the Oscar winner. His voice carries that distinctive roughness, like whiskey over gravel. I've been watching you all night. You move differently than other people here. Even sitting still, I can see it. The way you listen, the way your face changes when you're actually thinking versus when you're just being polite. I can tell you're a real actress. Audrey gestures to the empty chair beside her. Would you like to sit? Brando grins, that famous half smile that launched 1,000 imitations. Pulls out the chair, sits down like he owns every room he enters. Don't mind if I do. The table freezes completely. A studio executive, a writer, their wives, all staring with champagne glasses suspended midair. Marlon Brando just sat down at their table to talk to Audrey Hepburn, and suddenly everyone else feels invisible. Mel extends his hand with practiced Hollywood grace. I'm Mel Ferrer, Audrey's husband. Brando shakes it briefly, but his attention doesn't shift from Audrey. Beautiful wife for an actress. You must worry about her in this business. I worry about the business, Audrey says quietly. Brando laughs. Loud, real, genuine delight. I like that answer. Most people in this town worry about the wrong things. But Brando didn't walk across the room for small talk. He leans back in his chair, studies Audrey openly now. No pretense, no Hollywood games, sizing her up like he sizes up roles, looking for truth beneath the surface, looking for what makes her real. I've heard things about you, Brando says. People at the studio keep talking about your screen test for Roman Holiday. How Weiler kept the cameras rolling after you thought it was over. How you were more real when you didn't know you were being filmed than most actors are when they're trying their hardest. Most people are more interesting when they forget to perform. And you're different because I don't know how to perform. I only know how to be. Brando's eyes sharpen, interest flickering like a struck match. That's either very humble or very arrogant. It's just true. The table has gone completely quiet, glasses untouched, conversations abandoned, everyone leaning in slightly without realizing it. This isn't Hollywood networking. This is two artists discussing the thing that matters most to both of them. Be honest with me, Brando says, leaning forward. Acting, real acting. What is it to you? Audrey pauses, considers the question seriously. This isn't small talk anymore. This is shop talk between professionals who respect the craft. Survival, she says finally. Everything else is just technique. Brando nods slowly. He recognizes something in that answer, something he doesn't hear often in Hollywood. Survival how? When I was a child during the war, I learned that the difference between living and dying sometimes came down to how well you could make people believe you were someone else. A different girl. A girl who wasn't scared, who didn't need food, who had somewhere safe to go. That wasn't acting. That was existing. The surrounding tables have started to notice. Conversations dying, attention shifting, Marlon Brando and Audrey Hepburn in deep discussion. This is the kind of moment people talk about for years. Then Brando leans forward and asks the question he crossed the room to ask. Let me ask you something straight. Actor to actor. No games, no politics. Audrey meets his eyes. I'm listening. Could you outact me? The question hangs in the air like cigarette smoke. The studio executive's glass stops halfway to his mouth. Someone at the next table audibly gasps. Mel's hand finds Audrey's under the table, squeezes once. The most powerful actor in Hollywood just challenged a 31-year-old woman to an artistic duel. Audrey doesn't rush, doesn't blurt out yes or no. Respects the question enough to think about it. That depends. On what? On what kind of acting? Brando's brow furrows. Acting is acting. No, it isn't. Then Audrey says something that changes the energy at the entire table. Are we talking about your kind of scene or mine? Method work, sense memory, emotional recall, digging into trauma to find truth? Scene study where we tear ourselves apart to build a character from blood and bones? Brando nods slowly. This is his territory, his revolution. Or are we talking about my kind of scene? Finding truth without destroying myself? Connecting to something real without having to bleed for it every time? Being present without being tortured? Brando pauses. He hadn't considered these distinctions. In his world, intensity equals authenticity. Suffering equals truth. Pain equals power. But Audrey is asking him to think differently. Your way, he says slowly. Method work. Sense memory. Stanislavski approach. Audrey nods. In that context, you'd probably overwhelm me. You've spent years training your instrument to access pain, to channel personal history into performance. You're stronger in that arena. Your technique is more developed, more disciplined. You've mastered something I've never seriously studied. Brando nods, expected, obvious. But you said probably. Nothing is certain in performance. I might surprise you. I'm more intuitive than actors you've worked with. I might find emotional truth through a door you haven't considered. Whether that matters against someone of your caliber, I honestly don't know. What about your way? And that's when Audrey says something that makes the whole table hold its breath. Everything changes. Every tool becomes available. Stillness instead of intensity, listening instead of projecting, being instead of becoming, truth without torture. You think you could actually match me that way? I think my approach might access something you've never had to defend against in your entire career. Gentleness used as strength, vulnerability as power. Techniques that don't announce themselves. You've worked with actresses who tried to match your intensity, who fought fire with fire. I wouldn't do that. What would you do? I'd use the space you leave empty. While you're building emotional intensity, I'd be present in the silence. While you're reaching for big moments, I'd be living in the small ones. You're used to other actors trying to compete with your power. I'd use your power as part of my performance. Silence. Complete silence. The table holds its breath. Brando is quiet, the longest anyone has seen him quiet all night. Something happening behind those famous eyes. Assumptions being questioned, techniques being reconsidered. So your answer is yes, you could outact me? My answer is I could probably hold my own. Whether I win depends on what we're measuring. Your presence is legendary. Your instincts are unlike anything film has ever seen. Your courage with difficult material is unmatched. You might overwhelm everything I bring through sheer artistic force. Damn right. But I might touch something you can't reach. Some truth that intensity can't access. Some moment that only becomes real when nobody's trying to make it real. That's the honest answer. That's the only answer a real actress can give. Anyone who says definitely yes or no doesn't understand what we do. Brando stares at Audrey for a long moment. The room seems frozen in amber. Then something unexpected happens. He laughs, not mocking, delighted. The laugh of someone who discovered something valuable. You're the first actor in 5 years who didn't either kiss my ass or try to prove they're more tortured than me. You just told me the truth. The complicated truth with all the pieces that don't fit into easy answers. The truth is always complicated. People want simple. Who's better? Who wins? Black and white. Good triumphs over evil. Art isn't like that. Brando shakes his head slowly. You know what I like about you, Audrey? You're not intimidated by me. Everyone's intimidated by me. Other actors, directors, even producers, with the power to fire me. They either worship me or hate me. You're just talking to me. Why would I be intimidated? You're not my enemy. You're an actor. Extraordinary. Maybe the best of our generation, but still just a person trying to find truth in imaginary circumstances. You breathe. You doubt yourself. So do I. We're the same in that way. Something shifts between them. Something important. Two artists recognizing each other across different approaches to the same impossible task. I want to see you work, Brando says. Really work. Not in some Hollywood production with 40 people watching. Show me what you do when nobody's looking over your shoulder. I'd like that, and I want to watch your process. See how you prepare. Tell me what you see. Tell me the truth like you just did here. Nobody talks to me about craft anymore. They talk about box office and magazine covers. I don't know how to do anything else. Brando grins wide. That's exactly why I'm asking. They exchange information, plans to meet at his workshop. The conversation shifts lighter. Brando asks about her war experiences. Audrey asks about his approach to Shakespeare. They talk like old friends despite meeting 2 hours ago. When Brando stands to leave, he takes her hand gently, holds it. You're something different, Audrey Hepburn. Never met an actress like you. Never met an actor like you either. Maybe not, but after tonight, I'm not sure intensity is the only path to truth anymore. He winks. Don't tell my method teacher I said that. 2 weeks later, Audrey visits Brando's workshop in New York, spends an afternoon watching him work with young actors, points out moments where his technique creates distance instead of connection. Brando listens, actually listens, tries her suggestions. Admits they feel different, maybe truer. Brando visits Audrey on the set of Breakfast at Tiffany's, watches her find Holly Golightly without becoming her. His eyes widen when he sees her technique. That's real acting, he says quietly. Different kind than mine, but real. They become friends. Not daily calls, but connected. Two artists at the peak of different mountains, respecting what the other built, understanding what most people in Hollywood never see. Years later, when interviewers asked Brando about other acting techniques, whether method was always best, he'd give complicated answers. Say it depends. Say he once met an actress half his size who made him think differently about what performance really means. 10 minutes at a charity dinner in 1961. One question asked directly, could you outact me? Depends. That single word changed how the greatest actor in Hollywood thought about his craft, about limitations, about what artistic greatness really means. Audrey didn't defeat Marlon Brando that night. She did something harder. She made him think. That's the real power. Not intensity, not technique, not ego. Truth. Who in your life needs an honest answer instead of the comfortable one?